it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. So I've gone to start a couple of things in my craft space without you, and I've actually put one aside because I wanted to share with you, and I was about to start this one and I was like, I might as well just turn the camera on. I have no idea if hubby will turn up. If he does, I'm going to be brave and continue. Well, my plan is to continue videoing if he arrives home. We'll see how that goes. So I've just taken a book page out of my book that I'm using for this project. Again, it's quite a thick paper, so I've only got one sheet. And I have here to my right, when we made the layered pockets, we tore the edges off of our sheets to make those pieces of paper just a tad smaller. I've just got a little bit of a lump in there. This is just my DIY Mod Podge. I do have a video for making that in my videos, and I will try and remember to put the link in the description below for you if you'd like to have a look. So we made the layered pockets. We tore these strips off the outside of our book pages, and I'm just taking those strips. I set them to the side because I wanted to use them for this project, and I knew that I wanted to, so I have kept them, and I'm just going to lay them on top of this piece of paper. I am going sideways because I figured that I could hopefully cut 3 separate tags out of this one sheet. I didn't have enough strips, enough scraps to do them portrait. So I was like, well, I know I've got enough to do a landscape. Well, I didn't know, I thought I did, so I laid them over my piece of paper to make sure, and I do. So I was like, well, I'm just going to do a landscape, and it doesn't matter if the text underneath is sideways because you only see snippets of it anyway. So I'm doing a layer of glue underneath to adhere the strip of paper, and then a layer over the top just for added stability. And I am doing, when I lay them down, I am laying my torn edge at the top or away from me. So this is my torn edge here, this is my straight edge. So I hope you're all fabulous. Like I said, I was planning on doing some of this without you, and apparently I need you in the craft room. I don't know whether it's a glorified reason to talk to myself and have it justifiable. I'm not really sure. I have wondered that. But the other thing I wanted to share with you, which I will share after I've done this, I figured this could dry while we were working on the other project. I don't know what I was going to say. I think I was going to say I started it, and it kind of took a turn and a twist, and I was like, I need to share with you all. I don't know if it's something that you've all seen or done before, but it was new to me, and I was like, no, I need to share that. So I popped that aside, went to start this, and was like, because I was using the scraps from when we did the layered pockets, I was like, well, it's good for you guys to see that well, I didn't throw them away, as I often don't throw my scraps of anything away, but also it's good to see how to use them. So it is so warm here today. The weather conditions are quite scary. There are places at risk of fire again. Just terrifying. It's really, really windy too, which doesn't make for great fire conditions. Again, we've been really lucky here, so I'm grateful, really grateful for that, but so many people I know and love are affected. So I'm kind of trying to distract myself from worrying about things that haven't happened yet. Things that may not happen. Fingers crossed. Anyway. I don't know that I've done a whole lot inside the journal since I videoed last. I haven't actually finished off the pockets. I think that was my perhaps the belly band was my last video. I haven't finished off the pockets or the belly band. In actual fact, the belly band kind of took a twist too, because I'd mentioned to you I was going to sew around it. I'm not so sure I want to now. So I went to do it last night and I walked away because I was undecided. So I did go looking for some little miniature pearls, as I'd mentioned on my video, and the ones that I have were just a little bit too big for what I wanted. They didn't suit. I'll show you in a moment because I'm talking about something that you perhaps haven't seen yet, but I made some little miniature envelopes out of some tea stain paper to add to my belly band, and they are super cute. I love the way it came out, and I just felt like I should add something. I didn't need to, but I felt like a little pearl on the edge of the envelope flap would be really, really cute. And just finished them off, and when I found my little pearls that I have, they were way too big. And I do have some little diamantes, so, or they're not, maybe they are called diamantes, you know, the little fake bling that you can get for scrapbooking. I have some of those that were the right size, just right, as Goldilocks would say, but I don't know how I feel about adding bling. It's kind of like adding satin ribbon. It's not something I ever thought I'd do, so I guess this journal is kind of breaking a lot of my, not rules, but because I don't have rules when I craft, but it's going against the things that I would normally include to mesh with my vintage style. So anything that's blingy or shiny, or I tend to relate those to the more modern world. But I'm kind of finding ways, I guess, of justifying using those things. I feel like there's a little wrinkle there, but I don't know that I can get it out. If I see wrinkles, I'm just kind of pressing down with my brush to hopefully flatten them out. Sometimes I do that and it works really well, and other times they reappear when they dry. So I'm pretty happy with that. I am seeing some little wrinkles or bubbles. Whoops. But I don't think I'm going to get that any flatter, so I think I will just leave that to dry. I do need to put my brush into some water. Okay, I've just got a little bottle of water that I keep in my craft room because I don't actually have access to water in here. So just popping that, sorry, I just bumped the camera. Popping that somewhere safe. I've got bits and pieces everywhere. I'm just going to make some room for this to sit and dry. Okay, so that can dry while we move forward. I've got glue on my fingers. Okay, so I haven't sewn my pockets up yet, just so that you know I will be doing those soon. And this is our belly band. Now I was going to sew around the edges and I realized that a couple of these little envelopes I will actually sew through because they're very close to the edge. So I don't think I'm going to. I have attached it reasonably well. I may add, well actually, I don't want to bore you, but while I'm thinking about it, because technically you are crafting with me, so it's totally okay if I do this now. And if you don't want to watch, you're welcome to skip forward. But I was like, if I just attach that a little closer, then I think not sewing will be okay. I love the little pieces that are hanging over the edge. I think that's really fun. And I probably didn't need to do this all the way around, but I decided I would, so you kind of need to listen to what your instinct is telling you. Okay, so that's done. Thanks for bearing with me while I did that. And I have these little sparklies. Again, not something I thought I'd use. I think a pearl would look really, really pretty, but when I place this on here, I just feel like that finishes it off. So now that I've seen it again, I think I'm going to go ahead with that. I don't know where my tweezers are, so golly gosh, I'm going to try and do this freehand, so that could be interesting. Oh, and of course it landed upside down. Oops, and it shifted. Got a little glue string there. I need to have these ready. Got a couple that have fallen off, so I thought I would use those. There's something about this journal that is taking me from sort of the grunge of the Wild Wild West, I think, to the more well-to-do ladies of that time. So not really intentional, but the more I've worked on this journal, that's kind of what I've been thinking about. And I guess for me, that's when I was thinking about these little diamantes. I don't know what you call them. Cubic zirconia, I don't know. These little blings. That's kind of what I was thinking of. So vintage wise, that it still works in my mind, and really at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So just a tiny little bit of excess, and I need to pop my lid on there. Oh, see, I just think that that is so, so pretty. Let me see. I don't actually remember which signature I had that in. I think in the middle. Let me have a look. I'm looking for paper clips, so it's not the middle because there's a belly band there. Perhaps I don't have. And there's one there, so it must be the last one. Lucky last. I'm not sure I have paper clips in here for this yet. Doesn't appear that I do. Which means I don't have a spot for it yet. So I'm going to say there for now. Oh my gosh, I really, really love that. Just so that you know. Okay, so I'm just going to paper clip that in there. Have no idea if I'll leave it there, but oh my gosh, that's pretty. I love the pop of those darker pinks coming out. Yay! Okay, I think those little diamantes, my bling, I think they are a perfect addition. I don't know why that's not. Because it's stuck on a, oh no, it's got a paper clip on it, I see. Never mind me. Okay, now, oh, I meant to grab some paper. Okay, something else I should have done before I turned the camera on. Sorry guys, just didn't plan ahead very well at all. I'm just going to burnish these creases out a little bit. As I've told you in a previous video, I air dried these tea stain papers and I pressed them under a book, and I found if I just burnish over them with my bone folder, it seems to, it leaves the impression of these raised areas, but it feels much flatter, and therefore I feel like it will be much easier to write on while still having the appearance of the texture that the creases provide, which I really, really love. Okay, so that doesn't feel too bad. I don't know if you can see the difference here. So this one here was quite raised like this. I really feel like it does make a difference. Just being careful, I've got some bits and pieces on my bone folder and I could feel it, the resistance between that and my paper. I was worried it would tear through, so that's why I turned it over. Okay, they don't need to be perfect, but, and this may be far more trouble than you wish to put into them. I just feel like it's worthwhile. Okay, so again, it still has a slight rise there, not so bad here, a little bit there, better than it was. I'm going to, okay, so I was going to make some Rita Donnelly flips while I was off camera, and I started prepping. So what I can do is show you what I did, and I will also give you the measurements, and there's a reason for that. So okay, I probably moved my craft mat, sorry. Okay, so all I did was take my piece of A4 paper, and I had no idea how big I wanted to make it. I had a quick look at my journal page and decided, yes, I think that's about right. So when I figured out, yes, I think that's about right, all I did was turn my page up. Forget this one's here. All I did was turn my page up until I had the right measurement, roughly. And I think I did that over the top of my book page. So regardless of how big your book page is, you could totally do it that way. What I will tell you is, now that I have done this and the outcome wasn't intentional, but I loved it, I've kept one of each. You'll see what I mean. So I measured it, I folded it, I took my ruler, and I'm not doing it this way because I'm going to use this one to measure the rest, and laid it up against that edge, and that was where I tore it. So having said that, I want to measure this now that I know that I have pieces the right measurement. Okay. I'm like, that doesn't look square. That's because it's not. Okay, so I did that all the way up the page. So I just folded this over. Oops. Making sure that my corner is pinched in the center. So obviously I'm making Rita Donnelly flips, okay, just in case you weren't aware, or I didn't say, I can't remember. So I did that, and then I folded and I tore again all the way up that piece. Then I was left with this piece, and I was like, it's still quite wide, it would still make a good size. So I did the same. I folded and I creased and I tore, and I continued that all the way up. So when I had these two, I looked at them and I went, so I've got those two, they look a little bit smallish, so I wouldn't mind making a larger one. So I went ahead and I made a larger one. Now, once I had all of those together, I went, they're all different sizes. I'm not going to show you this. What I will do is give you the measurements of each one. So this one has ended up being roughly 4 5/8, and it was just measured via my page. So 4 5/8. This one measured 4 1/16, and this one, I'm not sure I've kept the right one because it looks the same. so is that. Oh, because I didn't make a bigger one. How did that happen? How did I do? Oh, because I made the bigger one, I think, and then used the smaller one. One of them I folded in half. So I've made the bigger one, sorry, and cut that or torn that and folded those, and then this smaller piece I've also used to make some as well. So the smaller one, I've shown you on the one that I folded in half. So I actually made the large. I need to get the proper set. Okay, so I feel like this went a little haywire. Okay, so I ended up with 3. And as you see, this was where I was playing. As you see, they're all just slightly smaller. So now that I've completely confused you, one of them, I folded my A4 sheet in half and pinched at the top, pinched at the bottom, and then laid my ruler on it and tore it in half and made my Rita Donnelly Flips using that. So either side was the same width. And then the other one I've made with the large one. So the measurement is 4 and 11/16. So 4 and 11/16 square. So I measured my A4 page 4 and 11/16 and tore. And I've used one side to make the larger pieces and one side to make the smaller pieces. So the smaller pieces have ended up being 3.5. In actual fact, it may have been the other way around. I may have done the 3.5 from memory and was left with this piece and went, I think that will work. So on my page, if I pop that, which I did, to check the size, it still works. Okay, so when I realized I had 3 different sizes and I was folding them, I realized I could stack them. So what I'm thinking of doing is having a stacked set of Rita Donnelly Flips. So what I'm thinking is, in the first signature I will have, it's almost like a waterfall effect, but with the Rita Donnelly Flips. So the first signature, I'm just going to have a single one. There's a song in my head right now and I'm not sharing. Oh golly, why do I do that to myself? So I'm going to have a single one in the first signature. The second signature, I'm thinking I might do a double layer. So let's find us, I need to have a set that I can use as a pro forma. So I think I will stick to the ones that I have inked, as much as I thought I was saving myself time and I wouldn't have to ink on camera. I don't even know where I've just put them. Where did I just put them? Have I left them in my signature? I think I have, actually. I have. So they are going to my ideas book. Okay. So I have a single and I'm going to have a double. So that's my plan. So I'm going to ink, and I'm sorry, I did say I thought I had that all organized, but I wasn't thinking about a set for my ideas book, and I'd much prefer to make sure I've taken care of that before I start gluing things. So inking around the top and then around the edges. Okay, so that's my single, and then my double. So I'm not really sure what I will call these. This one reminded me a little bit of a waterfall, but I'm thinking maybe a layered Rita Donnelly flip might be what I go with. Oops, I don't need to ink the inside. And so you can see I have the rougher edges. They're not straight because I've torn instead of I'm like, which side is actually inked? Because that side. Yes, I had the nice uneven edges and I really love that look. So that's my second set, single, double, and then I have a triple, and you could have as many layers on this as you wish, as long as each one is slightly smaller than the last. I just think it's a really fun effect, and I'm planning on gluing them down so that they all still flip up, which means that there will be journaling space underneath each one. You don't have to ink these either. It's my personal preference, as we've discovered. I must say I do really like the way they pop when they're stacked on top of each other once they're inked, which really is why I choose to ink. As you can tell, I'm still really surprised that I almost didn't ink. Okay, and so roughly stacking them like that. Now I do want to take my bone folder and I'm just going to burnish them really well. Okay, and so to decorating those, so I'm only going to decorate the very top of each one. Actually, I'm wondering if I've got some scraps that I can use. that's the perfect size for there. I'm not sure my other scraps here are big enough. Do I want to use that? I think that could work. The only thing that's throwing me is the text, so I might turn that one around. I'm not sure. Just looking through to see what I have left. I think a lot of them have text on them, which is okay, but they're going to face at an angle. So that works for that. That would work for that. Excuse me. But I could turn that around that way and have... I think I'll do that way for this one because it doesn't really matter which way around it goes. That way, if I choose to have it on the opposite side of the page, okay, so that will go on there. Okay, that will go on there. And that doesn't work, so really love this page, and I know I've used it elsewhere in the journal, but I'm wondering if I want that side. Oh, I don't know. Darling, I have so many choices, so I should just have a look and see what's in the other collections. So this is Love Paris Collection 2. I love that. I think that would be, again, I've used that elsewhere, but I do think that's the only one that has that really pretty blue, so I think I want to use that. And it's also in the right corner for this to be on a facing page. I was like, oh, bright shiny things, isn't that really pretty on that side? And then I was like, just go with your instinct. Oops. Oh dear, I knew I would do that. My hand gets in the way. Okay. Tricky part about doing these papers is just lifting that very corner. To get a somewhat straight edge. Okay, hubby is home. I haven't decided what I'm going to put on these, whether I want to put some sort of little cluster, I'm thinking. Okay, and I'm going to glue those on. Oops. Oh, that's going to be so pretty. Okay. And lucky last, I think I need to get myself a new piece. Fingers are tacky, or the paper's tacky, I'm not sure which one. Okay. and so that will sit over the top there. I love it. I'm just noticing I've got ink there from where it's been sitting, which I didn't realise, but never mind. Okay, I've just got to get something and I will be back to show you how I'm going to attach those. I'll be back in a moment, everybody. Okay, I'm back again. So hubby is out in the other room and I've been having a think about what I want to do to finish these little Rita Donnelly flips with, and I've decided that whatever I add, I don't want to add a lot of bulk. I had a look through some little fabric scraps and things, and everything I picked up I wanted to layer, and I feel like it will make it difficult to write on these if I put too many layers on. So I've decided to get this lace. It is a lace that I just got from Spotlight. I've used it in other areas of my journal, and I'm going to add a little strip of this to some of the layers, not all of them, and I'm going to vary up how or where, sorry, I add them. Just looking for my scissors. So with this one I want to pop it I think I will just go with the very top. I wasn't sure if I wanted to have it overhanging a little at the top, but I am just, sorry, I'm just checking that I'm actually recording. So just using my art glitter glue to tack this down. Looks like I have a couple of little glue goobers. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to add. I knew I wanted to add a little something, but like I said, everything I wanted to layer. I thought about making embellishments, or sorry, little clusters to go on here, but they do add bulk and I just didn't feel like that would necessarily work for writing in. This lace is lovely and thin, so it doesn't add a lot of bulk, and I am going to add just a little tad more and just snipping off my excess. Okay, so that's one finished. It's plain and simple and delicate and I love it. Okay, so that stuck to my finger. So this one here, trying to decide if I want I will add it to this pocket. So they'll all have a similar look as if they belong in a set, but they'll be that little bit different from each other. Okay. And I don't mind if I'm, oh, I need to scooch that, oops. Scooch it across. I don't mind if I'm just a little over the top on this one. So I'll see if I can show you. I might just burnish that down. It's kind of sticking to my fingers. Okay. So I'm hoping you can see there, I've just left that little top border hanging over the top edge. Okay. So again, I'm trimming off my excess. And I'm trimming that little piece off as well. So that when you flip this up, you don't see that lace on either side. Okay, and then now you have a choice. Originally I was going to glue the whole thing down, but I'm actually thinking I may make a tuck at the top. So it will kind of be like a hidden tuck. So I'm just adding glue, oops, to these two sides. Oops. Just trying to center it as best I can. And just burnishing that down. Okay, so there we have our second little Rita Donnelly flip. So they will go, whoops, that way. And we have another little side pocket here, and that flips up, and then that flips up for extra journaling space. So that's two. A little bit the same, but a little bit different. And then the last one, I'm actually thinking I might add the lace to this one. I'm looking for my lace and it's right in front of me. So and I may do the same thing, so just setting that up slightly from the top of the pocket. And I didn't put my glue back, the lid back on my glue, which was really naughty. I can hear hubby in the room next door, so sorry for the background noise. Okay, I'm going to pop the glue lid back on before I forget. And again, I'm just looking for a little overhang on this. May pop a little more glue under here, not necessary, but just don't want it going anywhere. I couldn't get the pin back in. Okay, so trimming off my excess again. I feel like I need a little bit more glue in that corner. Yes, I do. I'm going to close that first. And I will check this corner as well. Maybe just a tad. Okay. And I might give that a burnish, I think. So I can feel a slight texture underneath that, but it's not overly pronounced. So I think writing on it will be fine. I've got glue on my fingers. So I just want to see how that looks. I actually really love it like that. That's really pretty. And then adding that there. So I'm wondering, do I want lace on the front as well? I don't think I do, but no, I think I just want to leave it like that. So I'm going to do the same with these. I am going to make them hidden tuck spots. So just adding glue to these two sides. And a quick burnish for that one. And I've got really tacky fingers. Okay, and then I may need a little more glue where those papers meet the lace. And I'm going to somehow I ended up with glue there. I don't know how, but this part attached just slightly. Okay, so that is our triple. Oh my gosh, I love it. All that hidden journaling space. So again, this isn't quite adhering. Let me try this way. giving that a moment. It's only the very corner on this side. If this doesn't stick, I'll try the fabric glue and see if that's better. For some reason the glitter glue just isn't making contact properly, although like I said, it was only the very corner on this one. And that's better, much better. And I do need just a tad on here. Yep. I love that. Okay, so opening up to a page in our journal, we have our single pocket in this signature. I love that. I think that's just really pretty on its own. Or it could go this way. Just wondering where I would like to pop it. Thinking on this page actually. So I may pop these in as I go. Okay, and then in this signature we have our double, so we have a flip here and a flip here, and it's actually not very bulky at all, which I'm loving. And then our last signature, oops, and I think that's really pretty. Again, it's really not very bulky at all. So we have one flip, two flips, and three flips. So fun. And of course, so going back to, starting to get a little chunky. So we have a tuck spot here, and then we have a tuck spot here and in here, and in our last one we have a tuck spot here, one in here, and one in here. Oh, I'm really happy with those. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed it, and I love being able to do something a little bit different with something I'm already using. So please don't forget, give me a thumbs up, like this video if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And please always feel free to comment. I love to hear from you. I look forward to seeing you soon, everybody. Happy crafting. Bye for now.